Bad games. We've all have some bad games in our collection. Maybe you thought a game looked really cool, but it ended up being a little bit disappointing. Maybe you got a game as a gift. Maybe you and your friends just enjoy having bad game nights where you get together and just have some laughs and some beers and just make fun of really bad games. Or maybe you're into pain. I don't know. I'm not one to judge. There's no kink shaming here on the ZMan show. For me personally, I don't really keep bad games in my collection. I'd rather have a collection where every game I can pick off my shelf, if I pull it off my shelf, I'll put it in the console and have a good time. Even games that are critically panned, like say Blue Reflection or Sonic Forces, if I have fun with them, then what's the harm in having them? But unfortunately, some games do slip through the cracks, and we're going to be talking about that today on this impromptu episode of the Z-Man Show. This is a response video to that Canadian bastard Tark Scotland. He recently did a video about his worst games in his collection, so I thought it'd be fun to take a look at the worst games in my set. Now, do keep in mind, I don't have a massive game library like some of these other YouTubers out there, but I do have some clunkers, so let's talk about that today on the Z-Man Show. And let's just get right on to it. Let's start this list off with an obvious one. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Sonic the Hedgehog 2000 sucks. This game is a glitchy, unpolished, long loading time mess of a title, and I hate it. Just about everyone else on YouTube has broken down Sonic 06 and pointed out its many flaws and its very troubled production cycle. It's visually bankrupt, the gameplay sucks, and each gameplay session comes down to when you're going to meet a game-breaking bug. And most importantly, it put a black mark on my favorite franchise of all time. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 is scum, and I am done talking about it. On the topic of Sonic, I own the GameCube version of Sonic Adventure DX, which is a very awesome version of Sonic Adventure, and it comes with a nice bonus of having all the Game Gear titles in the game. And you'd think that'd be really nice, but there are two games in there that I have to single out as being absolutely whack. Sonic Spinball and Sonic Labyrinth both suck. Sonic Spinball on the Game Gear is a port of a very mediocre but passable Genesis game, Sonic Spinball, obviously. Whatever merits the Genesis version had were thrown out the window here on the Game Gear version. The physics just don't work, the gameplay is very clunky, and therefore the game doesn't work. Not helping is the Game Gear's very small resolution, making it hard to see what's ahead. So overall, Sonic Spinball, very bad Game Gear game. If there's a good pinball game on the Game Gear, I would love to know. Sonic Labyrinth, on the other hand, is a very clunky puzzle game, I guess, where Sonic moves slow as shit and has to spin dash and everything to do anything in the game. I don't know who thought this would be a good idea. You take a character whose gimmick was being fast and make him go not fast, and the end result is a game that is a slog to get through. I beat this game as a kid on the GameCube version of Sonic Adventure DX, and I hated it. Why did I beat it? Because I wasn't a smart kid. Collections are nice. It's nice to have one game that has a bunch of games on it. That's why I have the Sega Genesis collection on the Nintendo Switch. There's a lot of solid titles on here, but there are two games that I don't know why Sega keeps bringing back, and those games are Super Thunderblade and Space Harrier 2, the latter of which is on the Sega Genesis Mini. Like, why? Both these games suck. They're both poor man's renditions of Space Harrier and Afterburner, games where you fly into the screen. Both games have the same problems of being really slow, being really ugly, being unresponsive, and being not fun to play. Space Harrier is a classic title, and Space Harrier 2 just makes you wish to play the actual thing. I'd rather play the Master System version of Space Harrier than Space Harrier 2. Super Thunderblade, it's just awful. Look at it. Look at this piece of crap game. You tell me this deserves to be on the Genesis collection rather than something like, say, Outrun or Super Monaco GP. Jesus, Sega, what the hell's wrong with you? It's kind of like Nintendo, how Nintendo keeps bringing back Urban Champion to modern consoles, and I keep wanting to say to Nintendo that nobody likes Urban Champion. I don't know who at Nintendo likes this title, but they're wrong. Urban Champion, this title sucks. It's whack. It's not good. Space Harrier 2.
She does not. Millhouse likes.
Super Thunderblade.
He does not. Jamie likes.
Urban Champion.
She does not. Una likes.
Urban Champion.
Nobody likes Millhouse.
I own a stack of Famicom games. Some are decent, but a lot of them are just kind of meh, but I bought a lot of these games for $5 or less, so it all evens out. Of all the Famicom games I own, the worst of the lot is easily Kamen Rider Club. Kamen Rider is a classic Japanese action show. It should be easy to make a kick-ass game out of this franchise, and they totally ruined it. Kamen Rider Club is a hybrid platformer and turn-based RPG that does both wrong. The platforming is clunky and unresponsive. It's hard to go forward. It just doesn't make any sense how you play this game. It's like the developers didn't play Super Mario Bros. Or any platform beforehand before making this game. The RPG combat is marginally better, as in it's marginally shit. You have to keep mashing the A button to do attacks, and no matter how many times I try to escape a battle, it just doesn't want to work. In order to kill your opponents, you have to slam them into the wall, which just takes forever and it just wears out your thumb. Overall, Kamen Rider Club is just a purely poo title. I feel bad about playing this game in 2019, as I know somewhere, some point in Japanese history, some nice boy or girl asked for this game for Christmas or for their birthday, and they got it expecting a really kick-ass Kamen Rider game, but all they got was a really crappy childhood. A childhood that I bought for around 50 yen. So, yeah. And now I'm stuck with it. So, good job me. I'm the real loser here. I think you guys get the point. This game sucks. Now, before we wrap up here, there are two games I want to give some dishonorable mentions to. Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Had that on the PS3, sold it, and man, that game sucked. I don't care what anybody says. Street Fighter Cross Tekken was whack. And I had the PS3 version, which ran slower and had lag as opposed to the 360 and PC versions of the game. So it's already a bad version of a bad game. I also want to give a rant out to the game Yu-Gi-Oh! The False-Bound Kingdom on the GameCube. I thought I was just getting a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game for the GameCube, which would have been cool, but it ended up being this like weird, half-baked strategy game. I don't remember much about it. I remember being really hyped for it as a kid. That I remember being really disappointed in it after I played it for a few hours, and yeah, that wasn't the best Christmas present around, but hey, live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. To me, bad games are just that. They're bad games. But what was the story behind the bad game? What was the troubled history behind this game? Why did it turn out so poor? But I don't really need to buy the game to figure that out. I could just read up about it online. I would rather save my money and leave those games on the store shelves and keep my game collection nice and squeaky clean. And I think I'll just leave it at that. So let me know in the comments, make a video of yourselves. What are the worst games you own in your collection? And you know what, I'll throw in another challenge. What are the games in your collection that have the worst HUDs and UI? I'm looking at you, King of Fighters Neowave, you bastard of a King of Fighters game. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So thank you for watching, everybody. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Patreon, at ZMan, especially on Instagram. I'm very active on the Instagrams these days. And I'll see you next time for the next episode of The Z-Man Show. Later, everybody.